Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the In-Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. Today I'm doing the new arrival video for August 29th, 2025. Now, last week I thought to myself, you know what? This is a really awesome new arrival week. There is a ton of killer stuff in this new arrival. And then today, getting all ready, I'm digging through everything, and I'm like, holy rusted nuts, Batman. This is another great new arrival week. So, yeah, let me show you what we got on tap for this week. Let me start off with a few of the also killer pre-orders and announcements. Starting with the trade-in program. I mentioned it last week for the very first time, and it actually was quite successful. You'll probably notice there's a lot of new, recently traded in records on the website. I'm trying to put them all on the website. If you're not familiar with that, I'll go over it really, really quick. If you have records that you want to trade into the store, you go onto the website, you click that link on the very top menu bar that says Trade My Records. Now, there are a couple caveats. One, the most important one, I didn't stress it enough last week, is the records have to be each individually valued at $100 or over. No box sets, nothing big. That might come in the future, but right now we're looking for like normal LPs that I can retail for over $100. But I'm giving you 75% in store credit, and a lot of people have taken advantage of it. I've been kind of frantically receiving packages all day, getting things processed, prepped, ready for the website, but it's been a really successful program. So, like I said, we're going to do it for a little while. I don't know how long. We'll see how it goes. This past week has been pretty okay. Hopefully, we run snag and problem free. Okay. Verve announced a new series called the Verve Vault Series. This is probably what the Verve by request should have been, but wasn't. But this is called the Verve Vault Series. These are all analog, cut from the master tapes by Ryan K. Smith with the basic artwork, kind of like the Verve by request, but without the mostly terrible mastering. Although some were good, mainly the ones cut by Ryan, but you feel where I'm going with this. The first two titles are announced they're going to be 2 a month. I'm sure there'll be delays, there always seems to be. But 2 a month, we've got the first one October 10th, 2025. We've got Dizzy Gillespie, Sunny Side Up, and Antonio Carlos Jobim, the composer of Di Sa Fanando. That is coming out, again, October 10th. Both of those, all analog. Good budget, maybe the same price as the Blue Note Classic titles, what, 28 bucks? So solid new series. I'm looking forward to it. New Order is doing 4 standalone LPs by Rhino. These are records that I've had in stock for quite a few months, but the ones that I've had in stock have been imports that have cost twice the price of what these are going to cost. So coming October 31st, we've got New Orders, Power, Corruption, and Lies, Movement, Low Life, and Brotherhood. Alison Krauss and Union Station Live, getting reissued by Kraft, mastered by Matt Luthans at their mastering lab. That comes out November 21st. I don't think that's been in print since Mobile Fidelity did it years ago. Kind of a new squirrely little Blue Note. They're doing Ike Quebec's The Complete 45 Sessions. This is a Blue Note tone poet, all analog, cut from the master tape by Kevin Gray. Comes out October 10th. I want to say this is one of these 3-disc, more deluxe, ornate tone poets. 2 really solid, and I mean solid, Blue Note Classic titles coming out October 17th. Starting with Grant Green's Solid. I know, I'm hilarious. And Elvin Jones, Putting It Together. Both of those come out October 17th. Let's see. A new Verve acoustic sound series, Stan Getz meets Jerry Mulligan. That comes out October 25th. And I should have led with this, but the biggest news of the week, and typically these announcements tend to be some of the biggest news of the year, we've got a new Beatles release. The 2025 Beatles release is the Beatles Anthology Collection. It is essentially the Beatles Anthology, volumes 1, 2, and 3, with a volume 4 added to it. Volume 4 is 36 additional tracks. 13 of them have never been released. So we're getting 36 new additional tracks with 13 unreleased songs as part of Volume 4. Right now, you can only get it as a 12 LP box set. A lot of people are saying to me, oh, it's the same crap. I've already got this. Keep in mind, the anthologies have not been in print for many, many years. It's hard to get those anthology LPs. You don't just walk into a record store and they're new on the shelf. You got to go, you got to dig. I very seldomly get them in. You can go online, but again, you're going to pay you're going to pay the price of this to get those, but you're getting the brand new box with Anthology 4 included. One of the things that's cool about it, and I've heard it so far, is they're doing a 2025 mix of Free as a Bird and Real Love. They put Free as a Bird up on streaming. Do you remember how the original of that kind of had that crummy John Lennon cassette tape sound? You know, kind of like, sounded like a shitty cassette tape, because that's where they got the music from, was a shitty cassette tape. Well, they went back through AI, and it sounds like John Lennon in the studio. It's amazing. I'm digging so far what they've tastefully done with the Beatles using AI. I mean, I guess you could say, you know, look, we've had it that way for 30 years. It has some of its charm. But if you think about it, it's what they could get out of a crummy cassette deck or cassette tape recorded on probably a crummy cassette deck. But this is light years better. So that's included as well, the 2025 mix. And the 50th anniversary of George Harrison's All Things Must Pass. This is a new mix by Paul Hicks, 3 LP box set that comes out October 3rd of this year. So, all right, let me show you guys this week's new arrivals, starting with the title that I'm the most excited about, and that is the In Groove exclusive version of Funkadelic's self-titled album. Here it is, 500 copies, all analog, cut from tape on orange crushed vinyl, essentially a color combination complementary to the In Groove's colors. Tip-on jacket, kind of similar to what you get like a MoFi, like that old school tip-on jacket. Cut at 45 RPM. Now the reason I chose the 45 RPM is the 45 RPM is analog, the 33 is cut from a digital file. Side 1, I think it is, on the original album runs really, really long, longer than it should have, and because of that reason, it's sonically compromised. At 45 RPM, they were able to cut it from tape, no problem, to the 2 to 2 discs. You don't really have a detriment in sound quality. At 33, they figured they can get much better sonic results if they did some stuff in the digital domain. So on the 33, they cut it from the digital file. On the 45, they cut it from the analog tape. And being the In Groove, I'm an audiophile, I like audiophile records. Doing it at 45 was more in keeping of what I prefer to do. So that's the reason I chose the 45 RPM. A lot of people ask me, why didn't you do the 33? It just so happened, though, we have the only color variant at 45 RPM. Everybody else, there's a ton of color variants out there at 33 RPM, but at 45 RPM, we're the only ones that did a color variant, because I don't know. But there it is. This is called Orange Crush Vinyl. Again, really just In Groove exclusive, In Groove branding colors, I guess you would say. This is my copy. Yeah. I wanted to do a sonic review of it. I don't have this album in my collection. I have nothing to compare it with. So I don't really want to go on camera and be like, this record is great compared to what? I have nothing to compare it with. I have everything that came after this album, but I don't actually own a copy of this album to compare it with. So as more in this series comes out, I'll be able to discuss sonic quality to it. But on this one, I enjoy it. But I can't compare it to anything. Okay, so I only did 500 of these. 400 of them sold out instantaneously. I kept 100 aside. I stopped the pre-sale. I kept 100 aside because I wanted to have some the week it was released. For my international customers, for my local customers that don't pre-order, I'm about half out of those. I think there's 50, 60 copies of these left. Get it now because now's your only shot. I am going to do an In Groove exclusive for every Funkadelic that comes out with Org Music. I'm a huge fan of the band. I contacted Org wanting to do this a couple of years ago. I was stoked about it. The minute I found out they were doing the Westbound catalog, I wanted to do In Groove exclusive Funkadelic titles. I've got some interesting ideas for the upcoming titles I'll share with you guys later on. But as of now, yeah, 500 copies. Orange vinyl. Okay, and here we are at 45 RPM on black vinyl. This is the exact same record, just on black vinyl. This is and unlimited pressing. As many as you want to buy, they'll probably make for you. That's the standard version. And they also did a standard version on black vinyl. This is the 33 RPM cut from a digital file. But according to org, they tried it both ways. This was sonically superior. Standard basic cardboard cover. Again, one of the reasons I chose to do the 45 RPM. And they did an indie exclusive version at 33 RPM on ultraviolet colored vinyl. So 4 ways. In-groove exclusive 45 RPM, 45 RPM black vinyl, 33 RPM black vinyl, and indie exclusive violet. Okay. Actually, I got more titles to show you guys up here. 2 of these are restocks, so I'll wait towards the end. But let's get this big box set out of the way. This is kind of a cool thing you don't see very often. Music on Vinyl did a box set limited to 1,000 numbered copies on crystal clear vinyl. This is a massive Cheap Trick box set. Cheap Trick self-titled all the way up through Busted, which came out in 1990. So what is this? 13 albums worth of Cheap Trick. The Epic Albums Collection. They are all numbered. This is copy 958 of 1,000. Let's see. Contains all studio albums released under Epic Records from 1977 to 1990, plus the full live Budokan concert, and Found All the Parts EP. Includes a 4-page booklet. So, yeah. Big box. Only got a few of them, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be sold out and not available to get in the future because they only made 1,000 of them. Introducing Wayne Shorter. This is a title that I was looking forward to for quite some time, mostly because the VJ catalog had a lot of great jazz titles in it, and they are not easy to find, and when you do find them, they sound pretty crummy. But look at this record. Introducing Wayne Shorter. Wayne Shorter, Lee Morgan, Wynton Kelly, Paul Chambers, and Jimmy Cobb. What a fantastic record. All analog, cut from the original master tape by Kevin Gray. Killer title. And when I said this is a killer week, I mean this is why. Look, they just keep coming. Fleetwood Mac's Tango in the Night. This is part of the Rhino Reserve. All analog, cut from the original master tape, in this case by Matt Luthans at the Mastering Lab. This is the Rhino High Fidelity Budget series, essentially. So all analog, cut from tape, pressed at a better pressing plant, which makes no sense. Fidelity I would take any day over optimal. But comes in a generic cover. Also, a dynamite record. Phenomenal, must-own jazz record. If you're even just kind of a marginal jazz fan, you probably have this in your collection. Giant Steps by John Coltrane. All analog, cut from the original master tape by Matt Luthans. This is the stereo version. Came out in mono as well. Look at all these killer titles. Another, I love David Axelrod. His stuff is fantastic. This is from Elemental Music. Let's see, Songs of Experience. From Elemental. Don't even get me started on the ordeal I've had to go through this title. To get this title. Some of you guys have contacted me. We've had conversations over the phone. We've talked about it. It is finally here. I'm glad to get it off and out. This is the worst. Acquiring this record has been the worst experience I've ever had since I've had the shop. But here it is. Miles Davis, The Lost Recordings. This is volume 2 from The Lost Recordings. Number 2, I think they made 3,000 copies of this. This is number 1661. It is here. If you pre-ordered, it is finally on the way to you now. Another title that had a lot of pre-order action, Supertramp, Crime of the Century. This is the half-speed mastered version, half-speed mastered at Abbey Road Studios. Like a quintessential audiophile record, so I knew it would be popular, but I didn't realize how popular it would be. Supertramp, Crisis, What Crisis? The half-speed mastered version, also half-speed mastered at Abbey Road. Like we're still getting the banger stuff. I'm not even into the normal stuff yet. Look at this, Belladonna, Rhino Hi-Fi, all analog, cut from the original master tape by Kevin Gray. Looking forward to this. I actually don't have it yet. I knew it was coming out, so I was waiting to just get the version I could pick up here at the shop. I'm looking forward to comparing this against the Vinyl Me Please version that came out a while back. And another Rhino Hi-Fi title, we've got Wilco's AM. limited edition, numbered to 5,000 copies. This is the non-numbered version, but the Wilco is the numbered pressing. From Music on Vinyl, we've got 3 Elvis titles, and these are pretty limited. Yeah, limited to 2,500 copies. This is Elvis Sings. This is essentially Elvis, well, Elvis didn't write his own music, but this is Elvis doing covers of very well-known artists. Bob Dylan, the Beatles, the Bee Gees, Ray Charles, Simon and Garfunkel, Chuck Berry, Muddy Waters, and Creedence. And more. I mean, Sweet Caroline, there's tons of different stuff on here. 2 LP set from Music on Vinyl. I think it's on colored vinyl, white colored vinyl. This is a fantastic record. Even if you're not an Elvis fan, there's a chance you'll probably like this record. This is Elvis at Stax, limited to 2,500 copies. The best of the King's Stax sessions on 2 LPs, including newly mixed outtakes. He does a phenomenal version of Chuck Berry's Promised Land, but his Stax stuff was so good. And from Music on Vinyl, we've got A Date with Elvis, limited edition, 2,500 copies on light green colored vinyl. This is 1001, numbered on the back. The rest, I think, were numbered. That's 379. I'm just curious of the numbers I got. And 1354. Okay. Motorhead, No Remorse. This is a, I forget the color, pressed on red and black splatter vinyl. Includes a album cover poster. Let's see. Motorhead's No Sleep Till Hammersmith. Pressed on yellow and black vinyl. And we have Motorhead's No Sleep at All. Pressed on clear with black and white splatter. What a great record this is. It seems like this style of music is kind of slowly falling out of favor, but this is a great record. Dick Dale and the Deltones, Surfer's Choice, just an absolutely killer surf record. Dick Dale, like the man when it came to surf music. This is a seminal release, has been cut by Kevin Gray and pressed at RTI by Yellow Up. Pressed on, long story, but I'm dragging a little bit because I was actually at the shop at 3 o'clock last night, or this morning, I guess. Yeah, 3 o'clock this morning. It was a short night for me. It was a long night here. Let's see. Cut by Kevin Gray. Pressed at RTI on yellow vinyl. Oh, hold on. I need to get my prop for this next particular. Okay, up next, we've got Harry Potter and The Order of the Phoenix, the original motion picture soundtrack score composed by Nicholas Hooper. Capture the magic on clear vinyl. It's magical, guys. Got 4 Harry Potter soundtracks. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, original motion picture soundtrack. Capture the magic on clear vinyl. Guys, too, if you pick one of these up locally at the store, I still have these awesome specs as giveaways. Got to buy one of these new Harry Potter records. Let's see. Throws me off a little bit. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. This is part 1. Clear vinyl as well. And the 4th title we have is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I'd be here all night if I tried getting all this perfect. Let's see. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2. I've never seen any of these movies. I saw the first one, I fell asleep through the second one, and then I called it quits. All right, up next we have Deep Purple. Ooh. 20th anniversary celebration, new mix, new artwork. The album that set the path for Deep Purple in the 21st century. Bonus LP with rare jams and rehearsals. Cut at 45 RPM. Really nice textured cover. Well done. Weird release. Didn't know there was a huge clamor for this, but David Bowie and Mick Jagger dancing in the streets. 40th anniversary, limited edition white vinyl. 30% of the price of this product will be donated to the Band Aid Charitable Trust. See, they kind of make it sound like they're doing you a favor here. They're like, we're going to donate some money to the, but they charge $25 for this 12-inch. So they're not donating it. They charged you more and you're donating it. But yeah. The Hives. Forever, Forever, The Hives. The album. Chelino Sanchez from Kraft Recordings. All analog, cut from, well, it's in Spanish, so I can't read that. But I see AAA, Dave Polster, Clint Holly, and Well Made Music. That I can understand. So I'm assuming we can pretty much, it's all analog. Cut by, why is there two mastering engineers' names there? I really don't know, but press that Well Made Music. Celia Cruz, Exitos Eternos, Centennial Edition. They are doing more and more Latin, Spanish, Mexican music on vinyl. I mean, we're in Arizona. I try to get it. People have asked me for a decade, why don't you have more Spanish music? Well, it's because they don't make it. Now they're actually making it, and I'm buying it. Let's see. Alejandro Fernandez, De Re a Re. Vicente Fernandez is mentioned on the bottom here. Maybe it's his son. I mean, they share the love for the hat. Margot Price, Hard-Headed Woman. I don't know if I've met any that aren't hard-headed. Can I say that? Am I going to get in trouble? I come from a long line of Italians, though, so they're difficult to deal with. Kenny Chesney, The Road and the Radio, the #1 album, first time on vinyl. Living in Fast Forward, Summertime, and Beer in Mexico. Tiff Moret, Time and Patience. It's kind of funny. Two things that haven't been really well represented in vinyl have been country music and Latin music, and this video is loaded with both. Tiff Moret, Tambourine. Zach Top, Ain't In It For My Health. Includes an exclusive bonus track only available on vinyl. That's fantastic. 16 songs, 2 LP at 45 RPM. I actually prefer this configuration. Rather than doing, if you're going to do 2 discs and you can cut it, if it's like 60 minutes worth of music, it's too much for a single disc 33, but it's perfect for a 2-disc 45 RPM. That is a much better use of the space on the wax rather than having a etching that causes your record to dish warp. But I'm seeing that more and more, and I actually dig it. New album from Sophie Tucker. The name of this album is Butter. It's so crazy to see how they've gotten progressively more and more popular. I saw them at a little tiny bar here in Phoenix like 10 years ago. Maybe like 100 people were there. It was a really great show. I enjoyed it. Every time they come to town now, though, the venue is getting bigger. Belinda Carlisle, Once Upon a Time in California. This is the limited edition picture disc. Let's see. Sublime, a tribute to Sublime. Look at the love we found. Who's on this? Zach Brown Band, Jack Johnson, Pennywise. Sublime themselves. Live track. Just a whole bunch of the Ziggins, the Elevators, Fortunate Youth, Falling Idols, Pepper, 2 LP, 3 LP set. Fantastic record. The Pretty Things, Parachute. Good record. Chuck Berry on Elemental Music, St. Louis to Liverpool. Another great record. Love Chuck Berry. The album of the soundtrack, of the trailer, of the film of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. 50th anniversary souvenir exclusive version on your favorite gold color vinyl. Oh, and it's the eco version, which is what everybody was asking for. Filter, Short Bus, indie vinyl version on Crimson Moon vinyl. Florence and the Machine, How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful. The Beths, Straight Line Was a Lie, the indie vinyl version on sky blue colored vinyl. Benny the Butcher, Excelsior. Brad Meldew, Ride into the Sun. Jenny Beth, You Heartbreaker You. Salou, number 10. Alcatraz, All Night Long in Japan, 2019. Roy Ayers, He's Coming on Elemental Music. Good record, original on Polydor. Coil Gorelli, Out of This Town. This is on Sun Records. I love how they're using the Sun label again. What an iconic label. One of the most iconic labels of all time. And they're putting new music out on Sun Records. Flight, Between You and Me. Christian McBride, Without Further Ado, Volume 1. Look at the guest list on this. With special guests Sting, Andy Summers, Jeffrey Osborne, Samara Joy, whole bunch of people. John Hammond. Footwork. Some of his early records are phenomenal. Don't sleep on John Hammond. Some of his stuff is just awesome. Very Tony Joe White-ish, you know what I mean? Kind of that vibe if you're in a Tony Joe White. Ella Tubert. Progates Alab. Not a clue. Another Spanish record. I like bringing them in. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. And I believe this is a K-pop record. Also something I know absolutely nothing about. But they're getting more and more popular on vinyl. It's really a CD format, but they're becoming more and more popular. In Hyperin, the name of this album is Desire Unleash. This is a 12-inch EP. You can just hold a K-pop record and know it's a K-pop record because they pretty much all have this really heavy-duty bag, resealable sleeve that's done sideways with this big giant lip. Like everyone is pretty much the same. Okay, this next stack is a bunch of actually really solid restocks I've got that just came in this week. Starting with a restock from Sam Records, fantastic concert. This is Art Blakey live in Paris in 1965. I also have a restock of the original 10-inch version of Elevator to the Gallows, Miles Davis, Barney Weiland. This is the way it originally came out. They did it a couple of different ways later on in the United States. I think it was jazz tracks with some more stuff thrown on it. But the original first pressing of the record, it looks like this. I absolutely love Sam Records. I've been talking very highly of them for 10 years. The stuff is great. They go back, they license the original photography. This is essentially the Music Matters, but for France, you know, the French reissues. There's only about 15 records on Sam, but they really go to the high, you know, they go all out and do the absolute best job as possible. License the original photography. Look, original flip back covers. Their stuff is great. Highly recommend Sam Records. Another just dynamite Sam record title. This is the Olympia concert. Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. There is a killer version of Moanin' on here. 2 LP set. This is the Marie Callas box set. Live in Berlin, 1955. Marie Callas, Carry On. This is limited to, I don't know the exact quantity it's limited to. They're all numbered. This is number 300 on the nose. From the Lost Recording. Afternoon in Paris, John Lewis and Sasha Distel. Barney Weiland again. He's kind of a reoccurring character on a lot of these French releases. But you can't go wrong with any of the Sam records. But that Olympia, out of what I've saw so far, the 10-inch of Miles Davis or that Art Blakey Olympia concert would be my go-to. The Ronald Bright Trio. Again, look at the quality, look at the detail of the photos on the front. These aren't scans. Details on the photos on the back, the recreation of all the original artwork, the fact that it's a flip back. It's just a killer presentation. From the Lost Recordings, we've got the original American Folk Blues Festival, numbered edition. This is number 716. Look who's on this. John Lee Hooker, Willie Dixon, Sonny Boy Williamson, Memphis Slim, T-Bone Walker, Brownie McGee, Sonny Terry. Bobby Jasper from the Lost Recordings, and a title that has been extremely popular. I don't expect to have these very much longer. We got a restock of the Deftones, Private Music. This is the clear vinyl version. This has been a lot more popular than I would have thought it would have been, but that's because I think the name of this is the first pressing. They're all first pressings, guys. This is the indie vinyl. This is also the first pressing. Do you know how I know they're the first pressing? Because they came out the day the record came out. They're first pressings. I had to have this conversation with a couple of people in the store. They're like, no, I don't want, because I only had the indie after a while. Like, no, I don't want the indie. I want the first pressing. I don't want to get the later. I don't want the second pressing. I want the first pressing. I'm like, the record just came out today. I'm like, it's the first pressing. They're both the first pressing. This is just called the indie version, and this is called the first pressing. Best marketing ever. To actually put it in the title that this is the first pressing on one of the versions. It's the smartest thing I've seen a band do in a long, long time. It's worked like a charm. I had multiple people say, I got to get the first pressing, but I really want the purple color. But I can't not get the first pressing. Laufey, A Matter of Time. This is the indie vinyl exclusive autumn edition with added poster and a note from Laufey. And an absolute killer record, electronic, Bernard from New Order and Johnny Marr. If you are a New Order fan, this is really just like a 1990s New Order record. You're going to love it. Fantastic record. We actually listened to it today. Big fan. All right. I have a Whatnot coming out later on today, 5 o'clock Arizona time. I'm thinking this is going to be a long video when all said and done. I'm not 100% sure. You'll notice like 3 or 4 cuts in the beginning. I have to cut a lot of it out because I had people knocking on the door. I had many, many things going on in the background, but we're going to cut all that off. I had my kid calling. I had to yell at him a little bit. Hopefully I remember to take that out. But yeah, that is it for this week's New Arrival. Boy, I've been here for a long time filming this video. Seems like 2 hours. Until next time.